AITA for snapping and telling my coworker that my husband is better than hers? F23. Have a coworker who's twice older than me. F45. She's in the brink of losing her job because she's not performing well and has bad attitude toward other coworkers, in which many has expressed their issue about her. She also loves to overshare her life details to her coworkers, i.e. her unhappy marriage. Our manager has talked to her about this, but she's not improving. Ever since she knew she's probably losing her job soon, she starts belittling others more viciously. Unfortunately, I am one of the people she belittles. While I understand she does this as a way to make herself feel better, but she likes to judge, make assumption about my personal life, even though I rarely talk about it at work, and sometimes praising herself for being better than me, then spreading that misinformation to other coworkers. For example, she said she was glad she wasn't like me, because I love reading and hanging out with my friends, that I must be neglecting my husband at home. Or that I'm spoiled because I brought my mom's cooking to work once. She also talked to people from other department that I was the one turning her into our manager, while in reality our manager asked people in our team one by one about her performance before he talked to her about it. I usually ignored her because what she said is not true and not cause any real damage to my career, but my tipping point is when she said something about my struggle to conceive. She said my struggle is caused by our own mistake. God is not going to give us any children because I'm too focused at my career and education. In her point of view, marriage is about having babies, and if that's not our priority, then God is going to ignore our prayers for children. While it's true my husband and I postponed our pregnancy, it's been a year since we tried for a baby, so it kinda hit me right where it hurts. When she said this, I snapped and told her at least I have a loving and caring husband. After our argument, she stopped spreading rumors about me. Instead, she started avoiding and blatantly excluding me on her conversation. Deep down I'm glad that I snapped at her if it means standing up to her, but I also know she's hurt by my words, and I felt childish for saying those things to her, for getting involved in office's drama. I feel like our argument starts to affect our professional relationship as she continuously avoiding me. I feel like I crossed the line here. So, AITA for snapping at her? Especially I live in a country where I must respect people who's older than me no matter what happens. NTA, if you want respect, you must give respect. I'm sorry about how you were treated by her. She used something from your personal life against you, something that you have been struggling with quite a lot. She had absolutely no right to do that, older or not. Please don't blame yourself. NTA. She has a few screws loose in her head and your manager knows it. The way you snapped at her was very mild compared to how she spoke to you and about you. The stuff she said to you is bad enough to have her fired for creating a hostile work environment. I think you did a good job of putting her in her place without attacking her, and you are better off with her ignoring you. WIBTA to report a coworker with the possibility of her getting fired? I am in a managing position in a small enterprise. It doesn't give me the power to hire or fire employees, but I am trusted by the owners, so what I say influences them a lot. I am currently managing a team of around 10 persons, one of them being Kate, 23 the youngest and newest member. Kate is a sweet girl who's been through a lot during her life, but has always tried her best to face the problems. Until recently, from what little information I have, she has fairly big family problems, including her close and extended family as in baby stepsister and so on. She's the type of person always obedient, especially to her mom, and has dropped stuff many times to jump to the aid of her family. I totally understand prioritizing your family. I always help my employees out when they have any sort of issue with their kids or anything family related, but so far, it only happened in some situations. People would ask me to sign them off to solve a problem with their family a couple times a year and months apart. No one ever abused this. Kate, however, has been with us for less than a year, and it's been already more times than I can keep track of when she left work saying she has family issues. At first, I turned a blind eye in the spirit of kindness and humanity, and also because I know some of her struggles and I thought she needs some understanding, but when the issue became recurring, I called her in and demanded her to stop letting her personal problems affect her work life. She began sobbing, telling me more about her hard upbringing and her problematic family and how she is all her baby stepsister is all she's got. Again, stepsister, not even half-sister. She told me she's being pushed to run errands around house by her family and shamed if she refuses, and going to work is the only thing offering her some independence. Before I even suggested anything about cutting her seemingly toxic family off, she began complaining how she can't do this and they won't leave her alone. I decided to forgive her again as long as she promised she won't let this interfere with work as much. She agreed, but nothing changed. It's starting to affect my team and the owners have started noticing it too. Both me and my employees have covered for her, but there's only so much we can do. The next step is to report her to my bosses, the owners, thing that can, and probably will lead to her termination. I don't want to bring yet another hardship to her, but it's starting to be a drag to everyone else who also have their own issues. I know we have to be understanding, but I don't think it's acceptable for her to use her personal problems as an excuse whenever she makes a mistake. I don't think we are obliged to tolerate her issues any longer given the fact that it starts to affect our hard work too. Part of me wants to run up to the bosses, lay all the evidence out and have her gone, but also I want to support her in any way I can, because I somehow understand her struggling. NTA, perhaps you have done this but haven't made it clear, but I think it is only fair to give her the final warning that further lapses will require you to report to the owners, which will likely result in her termination. I would only add that you can tell her, you are very sorry for her personal troubles, but at the point that it is having a regular negative impact on the workplace, it cannot be tolerated and no workplace is likely to put up with it once it is determined to be chronic. So the advice to her is to find a way to fix it, or realize that she's likely going to struggle to maintain employment anywhere, but that you cannot cover for her chronic issues any longer. Info: have you spoken with her about this? Has she received a verbal and/or written warning? Look at it from the other employees' POVs. I'd be pissed if someone got to take all the time they wanted, whenever they wanted, because I'd have to take up the slack for them. They still get a paycheck, just like me, but I'm doing twice the work. From the sounds of it, it's ALREDAY being felt by other employees. I understand you don't want to cause any additional hardship for her, but a job is a commitment. If she can't commit to what's required of her, she should find a different job that works with her schedule. AITA for tagging my friend in a photo with her ex? For context, I started this thing as a joke where I tag my friends as anime characters on my story. Myself excluded, and my friend Kay asked me to make him one too. When I asked with who, he told me to surprise him and pick a random person. And I remember him telling me earlier about his ex and how crazy they are and all about how they traumatized him. And I thought it would be funny to tag them in a post with him. Keep in mind, I don't follow his ex, so them seeing the post would be impossible. Kay saw the post and proceeded to get mad. He called me very hurtful things such obese, and WH*re, etc. I kept reminding him that he told me to surprise him with anyone, and that's exactly what I did. So am I the asshole? YTA, bringing up something that traumatized your friend isn't funny, it's cruel. You're an awful friend. Also, you don't have to be following someone for them to see that you've tagged them in a story, so his ex could have seen it. YTA, the ex traumatized him and you just made him relive that when he saw the picture. To make it worse, you thought his trauma would be funny. Shame.